is a set of beliefs that shape how you make sense of the world and yourself. It influences how you think, feel, and behave in any given situation. I mean, so that's what it is. But to take a double click on this particular definition, a mindset is what you are, what your reality is, what your perception is. And it starts from early years, it starts from your childhood. When as a kid, you see what other people are doing, what other of your age fellows are doing, and you start questioning, you start experiencing it. It is all about your emotions, it is about your pain. And all of these experiences, slowly and steadily, they develop a certain mindset. It can be a positive mindset because of certain experiences. It can be a negative mindset from other experiences as well, but it is once again a mindset. So I'm not going to get into the positive or the negative side. Rather, I'm going to get into what exactly helps in creating the mindset that you have. So, like I said, it is when you are as a kid, you experience a lot of things. So there are two types of praises that happen when you are a kid. It's a personal praise and it's a process praise, and these actually help you. They actually create that base from where your mindset is formed, and it can be a fixed mindset and it can be a growth mindset, which we will talk about later. But coming back to this slide, what is a personal praise? So personal praise is where you are praising a kid for doing great, let's say on their math test, just because of their own self, that this is their natural talent and they did good in maths. And we have heard this in the past as well. We still hear about it from our colleagues, our friends, our family, that this kid is really good in this subject, this kid is really good in maths or science or that and that. And then there is a process praise, which is entirely the opposite of that. So on personal praise, if I share an example with you, let's say a kid has done remarkably well on a biology test, and the parents and the teachers are saying it is all because of you. And by you, I mean it is because that person is actually naturally great in biology. It has nothing to do with the process of, hard working, of researching, of analyzing, anything at all from that perspective. It is just that particular person is good in biology. So that is where the personal praise comes into being, and that's where the mindset formation is attached and it starts developing, that I'm going to talk about later. And then there is process praise. So the same kid, if we take that same kid doing good on biology tests, but rather than praising for his personal capability, that this is something natural, we start talking about, okay, you made a certain strategy, you took certain steps, you worked hard, you did your homework, you did your classwork, you presented, you studied hard, and through all of these steps, you have gotten good at biology, and then you perform. So that sort of a mindset, actually, if it's delivered or if it's created in early childhood, that creates the growth mindset. And now moving forward, the mindset types that I have talked about, fixed versus growth mindset, right? So what is a fixed mindset? So there are few attributes to that that sort of tell you what a fixed mindset is. When you are in a fixed mindset, any challenges that come your way, you are trying to avoid them. You are trying that this is something that I'm not able to do, regardless of trying it, regardless of taking the first step. Your mind is like, this is not something I can deliver on. And then if there are some obstacles that come your way, whether they are from your personal point of view, from your professional point of view, you give up on them easily. By giving up, I'm not saying you're not trying, but you're not trying enough, right? Or let's say you had certain obstacles and your experience is that you failed at a couple of them, and you're like, your mindset is like, okay, this is it. I'm not good at it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to try even doing any of it, because your experiences in the past have been that there are certain things that are naturally attuned to your personality and you are just good at them. So these things, even if you try, you're going to fail. And if you have tried and you have failed, so there it is, you have seen it in front of your own eyes, so you start giving up on them easily. And then the effort, you see there's no point in putting in extra effort. Even if you have put in for the first step and it hasn't delivered, on the second step, you are going to be more effortless. You are going to be not giving your 101%. And slowly and steadily, you are going to start giving up on everything. and you're just going to go into that cocoon from where your growth is going to be very limited. Then we talk about feedback. Feedback can be positive, feedback can be negative as well. We talk a lot about this theme, constructive feedback. What is constructive feedback? Constructive feedback is something that is going to help you grow. It can be sort of negative for you as well. I mean, obviously it depends upon who is giving you that feedback, and they need to be very, very careful in giving that feedback. But regardless of that, even if the feedback is negative or you perceive it negative, you find those gaps in that negative feedback and make them useful for you. If you do that, you are on the growth mindset side. But if you don't do that, okay, I'm not good at that. My line manager said that I am unable to perform. I'm not good at making slides, or I'm not good at making these dashboards. So, I mean, you can learn them, but you're saying, no, I'm not good at them. And that feedback takes you again in that particular loop of failures and, avoiding the obstacles, avoiding the challenges, and not putting in those efforts. And then lastly, success of others is taken as a jealousy, is taken as a threat. Especially we see in the workforce, two people in the same team, one is getting promoted, the other one is not getting promoted, regardless of whatever the dynamics have been. And there can be countless dynamics. You see that as a threat. Okay, I have given my 100% and I am not there, and that person is there. And that is, again, I think, taking you back towards that fixed mindset. Now, moving on, fixed versus growth mindset. What we see on the growth mindset, same things, but from an opposite perspective. We talk about challenges that we are avoiding on the fixed side, but on the growth mindset, we are embracing them, right? We are learning from them. We are talking about obstacles, where on the fixed side, we are saying that we are giving up on them easily, but on the growth mindset side, we persist in those setbacks and we learn from them, and we take those obstacles, we take those challenges as an opportunity to learn, to grow. Okay, this is something that I did wrong. Okay, why did I do this wrong? What steps could I have taken that would have helped me in achieving this particular target? Start working backwards. Okay, and next time do better. Even if you don't do 100%, do 90%. Do 10%, 20% better than your last attempt. And slowly and steadily you reach towards that mastery that I talked about in terms of that efforts. So effort is not going to give you 100% results instantly, but with each step it is going to improve. And that's the mindset you need to be in. Okay, I'm not giving my 100%, but I am improving on 10%. And slowly and steadily I'm going to reach on 20, and then I'm going to reach on 30, and eventually on 100%. And those 10, 20, 30% are again learning opportunities to help you. So taking the failure as something positive rather than as something negative. And this is what we see in the startup ecosystem as well, because you come up with an idea, right? And then you start working towards that idea. And as a founder and as an entrepreneur, you have no clue whether you're going to be successful, but because of the sheer grit, because of the passion, and because of having that belief that you are going to deliver, you take the first step and you start delivering on that particular first step. You may have that vision of, going to become $1 billion company, to become a unicorn, but you have to start somewhere. Most of the people then don't even start. I mean, they think about, what if this goes wrong? What if that goes wrong? And I mean, life is full of uncertainties, right? And the real growth actually comes in uncertainty. So to have that uncertainty in your life, it is a natural thing. You don't know if you are going to be alive tomorrow, right? So why waste today? Why go with that fixed mindset? Always try whatever you have in terms of resources, your position, your role, wherever you are, how can you create the maximum out of it? Think about that. Think about addressing those gaps, and think about what you have done in your past that you can learn from and deliver on that better. Similarly, on the feedback side, it is also, whether it is negative feedback or a positive feedback, or, I mean, like I said, constructive feedback in that sense that a lot of people take as negative feedback. Whoever is giving you that feedback, take it as some golden nuggets that you needed to hear from somebody else. Even if you don't agree with them, there is something there that can help you in terms of improving yourself. and have that patience, because everybody is on their own journey, right? And they have their own experiences, and when they give you the feedback, they are giving that feedback from their own experiences, right? So, I mean, think of yourself as in a position where everybody is giving you feedback from their experiences. You can take it or you can leave it. I would say take it, accept it, even if you don't agree with it, understand where that person is coming from, and try to find something positive out of it that can help you in terms of growing further. And then taking the success of others as an inspiration rather than taking it as a threat, taking it as a jealousy of some sort, where that person is being given more because of whatever the connections, or if they are naturally talented, or if they are delivering on the KPIs better than you, even though you think you are delivering better. Rather than that, take that inspiration. There is always something that you can learn. I'm not saying you're not delivering on your 100%, but I'm saying that you can obviously do better. There should always be space where you can improve. You cannot be always flawless, right? Always have that space where you can do better. You can always do better, and that gives you that growth mindset, that gives you that consistency to further grow and grow and grow. So this is what is fixed versus growth mindset. On the fixed side, you are locked within your experience, within your role, within your position. You are not experimenting enough. You're not listening enough. You are insecure about a lot of things, and you take failure as something negative. On the growth mindset, you want to grow, you want to explore, you want to experiment, you are taking risks, regardless of those risks are not delivering or they are pushing you back, but eventually they are going to help you grow. Moving on, in terms of what is your mindset, right? So everybody has this question, whether I have a growth mindset or I have a fixed mindset. You can read about them in these six statements that I've given over here, and then we can see what sort of a mindset you have. Starting from one, you are born with a certain amount of intelligence, and it isn't something that can be changed. Number two is, no matter who you are, there isn't much you can do to improve your basic abilities and personality. Number three is, people are capable of changing who they are. Number four is, you can learn new things and improve your intelligence. Number five is, people either have particular talents or they don't. You can't just acquire talents for things like music, writing, art, or athletics. And number six is, studying, working hard, and practicing new skills are all ways to develop new talents and abilities. Now, moving on, if you agree with one, two, and five, one being you're born with a certain amount of intelligence, two being no matter who you are, there isn't much you can do to improve, and number five, people either have particular talents or they don't. So if you believe in these three statements, one, two, and five, then you have a fixed mindset, right? So, I mean, I will go with the five one. People either have particular talents or they don't. You can't just acquire talents for things like music, writing, art, or athletics. Completely disagree with it. I actually love playing music, and I'm a self-taught learner. I know how to play guitar, and I learned it from this website called cyberfred.com, I think 10, 12 years ago. And at that point in time, there wasn't YouTube, or I don't think YouTube was that famous. So you had to learn it from the old school websites. And I did. I mean, I was sitting over there. I bought this guitar and started, moving my fingers on it. I started learning about chords and how to switch the positions with terms of whatever the chords they were, and how to do the scales. And then I started writing songs, composing songs as well. And this is something I wanted to do, right? But if I had that mindset that you come with a natural talent, and we hear it a lot as well, that this person has a natural talent towards singing or playing that guitar in a certain way. Absolutely not. I mean, there can be few exceptions, but anybody can learn these instruments, and anybody can sing well. I mean, there are trainings out there. It's all about taking that step. If you want to do it, you can actually do it. But if you have that mindset where you believe that nothing is possible without having that particular natural talent, then I think going towards delivering on your growth is going to be impossible, because these are the hindrances, these are the blocks that you have actually developed in your mind. And these were developed in your early childhood, when you thought, or when your parents thought, or when your teachers thought that this is what you are good at and this is what you are bad at. You can always try to change. I mean, we see these examples out there that people are learning new skills. People are, doing their degrees at the age of 40 and 50 and 60. And actually, it has become a norm that you have to be at a certain point, at a certain position, at a certain age, right? Because society is as such. But I mean, break those barriers. I mean, I'm from the startup ecosystem, and we are all about disrupting the barriers. So bring in the new ideas, bring at any age, whatever. So moving on, if you agree with 3, 4, and 6, then you have a growth mindset. People are capable of changing who they are. You can learn new things and improve your intelligence. Studying, working hard, and practicing new skills are all ways to develop new talents and abilities. So here I'm going to take a deep dive on number 6, studying, working hard, practicing new skills. So, putting in those efforts. I mean, small, big, doesn't matter. You have to be there. It doesn't have to be that you always have to deliver 100% on each and every day. No, absolutely not. I mean, what kind of a mindset you have? You have your personal problems to deal with as well. I mean, sometimes you are not in the mood. Sometimes you're not productive enough. Sometimes you're sick. I mean, there are so many reasons to not give your 100%, and you don't have to. Just show up, just be there. And just by that virtue, slowly and steadily, you are going to deliver that growth mindset. I mean, there are numerous articles out there that you can read about the philosophy behind it. But the one I read, I don't remember who wrote it, but there was something over there that start by doing very, very small things in the morning. So when you wake up in the morning, if you make up your bed, that is something that gives you that sort of a feeling that you have achieved something, and that brings in a positive mindset. When you wake up, you go for an exercise. I mean, that also, is a healthy habit. I mean, keep on doing that. Read for 30 minutes. Read about other people. Get inspired from them. All of these positive attributes. I think these are positive attributes that help you further in terms of creating that mindset where you feel like that you have achieved something. And then you build a momentum on that achievement, and you go towards your office. When you are in a positive mindset, when you have already done these things, you feel like that you can conquer the world. And that's all that you need to do. Be present, be over there. And delivering on 100% constantly, it's not possible for anybody. So one day give it 20%, one day give it 40%, but being there, having that opportunity, and showing up that you are somebody that the manager or the organization or your business partner or your family member can count on. And that is a great feeling to have. So having these 3, 4, and 6 statements, if you agree with them, congratulations, you have that growth mindset. If you don't agree with them, then let's move on in terms of how to reach towards a growth mindset. I haven't said that fixed mindset means it's fixed, that you cannot change it. Again, that is also a fixed mindset philosophy. You can change anything. So moving on, how we do this transition from fixed towards growth mindset. So there are 3 main points that I believe that can help you move from fixed to growth mindset. One is being aware. So all the slides that I've shown you earlier in terms of what is the definition of a mindset, how it is formed in early years, and do I have a growth mindset or do I have a fixed mindset? Even there is a chance that you agree with some of the fixed mindset stuff and some of the growth mindset stuff as well, which is fine as well. But now you have the awareness. Okay, these are the gaps. This is what I do. These are the patterns in my life, and you can easily gauge those patterns that this is what you are doing. So having identification of those patterns, and then communicating inside you, okay, these are the things that I need to change. And now you have certain points, certain resources that can help you in terms of having that dialogue within yourself, having that self-reflection moment in terms of how I can change it and what I need to do to change it. So having that awareness is the first step, and then changing what changes are required. So rewiring brain in terms of doing what. And then rewiring means that you change your habits, you change your patterns, you change your routine, and slowly and steadily, the whole brain is rewired, and then it becomes some sort of a second habit to you. So identifying and having that internal dialogue is the first thing, having that awareness within yourself, having that self-reflection, then rewiring that we are going to talk about further, and then obviously taking action. We can talk about it a lot, we can write about it a lot, we can read about it a lot, but eventually if we are not going to take the first step, if we are not going to put these ideas, these discussions, these points into action items, nothing is going to solve for you. It's going to stay as it is. So moving on in terms of how to rewire. So these are few of the statements that you see on your left side, and then there are few on your right side. So fixed versus growth mindset. Instead of I'm not good at this, no, this is a fixed mindset. Try thinking, what am I missing? I mean, right when you read it, I'm not good at this, you are locking yourself entirely. Okay, I'm not good at this. Somebody else has to do it. Okay, story is ended for you, right? Rather than saying that, rather than thinking like that, try thinking, what am I missing? What are the gaps? There's something out there that I can do and deliver on this particular, let's say, KPI. And then I give up, right? Again, you are totally giving yourself no options whatsoever. Rather than saying I give up, I will use a different strategy. I mean, it's when we talk about these statements, be sure that these are your internal dialogues. This is something that you talk about with yourself. These are your self-reflections. These are not something. I mean, obviously, you can talk about them with your friends, colleagues, or but the thing is that when you think about it internally inside you, I mean, that helps you a lot as well. And then moving on, it's good enough. Is this really my best work? So when I talk about it's good enough, I said that, okay, this is the best I can do, and this is the best I have delivered, and now I need something else moving on, right? Rather than saying that, I mean, always have that gap, because if you don't have that gap, then the growth actually stops for you, right? So we have this saying inside Kareem, to the moon and beyond. We haven't said to the moon. Okay, we have reached the moon. That's it. Mission accomplished. Let's go home. No, to the moon and beyond, because universe is infinite, right? So in that sense, having that vision, having that mindset, where there is always something better to do, and there is always something better to do, right? So never say good enough. There's always something better to do, and I can't make this any better. Rather than saying that, rather than having that internal dialogue, I can always improve. There's always a chance of improvement, whether it is self improvement, whether it is something related to your work, personal development, sports, hobbies. There's always a chance of improvement. So always have that uh, window where you can further improve on already delivered stuff. Then saying this is too hard, and on the growth mindset, we talk about it in a different way. This may take some time, right? Obviously, I mean, if it is hard, obviously it is going to take time. Rather than saying this is too hard and I will give up on it, and probably somebody else is going to pick this up and deliver on it. I mean, have that internal dialogue that obviously it is hard, it is going to take some time. Maybe it is going to need more deep dive. Maybe it is going to need a better structure. Maybe I have to re-strategize, right? All of these words, when we talk about it in professional setting, they have a certain meaning to them. They have a certain background to them. So strategy is a great word. I mean, we talk about it a lot, and we do come up with these quarterly, monthly, weekly strategies. But why are these strategies necessary? To make things easier, to make things more understandable. So, I mean, coming back to this is too hard. This may take some time. I have to work in a different way. I have to change my approach. There can be countless things that you can come up with, but then you are giving yourself space to grow, to think. But on the fixed mindset, you're not giving yourself any space. I made a mistake. Everyone is mistake driven. I mean, mistakes are part of our nature. We do make them. But having that mindset of making a mistake and feeling miserable about it, rather than that, mistakes help me learn. So rather than having that negative thought in you, failure is an opportunity to grow. I mean, I myself, I have failed countless times. And I actually, in the beginning, I used to feel really bad about it because I was not actually learning anything from it. I was always feeling bad about that particular failure. Why did this happen? Why this always happens to me, you know? And all of these negative thoughts, they lock you in a space from where it is not easy to get out of. So rather than having that, okay, mistakes are done, mistakes are natural, everybody makes them, nobody is perfect. Okay, what I need to do now in terms of sorting this out or not to make this again. And then I just can't do this, right? Again, locking yourself, I mean, giving up. Rather than saying that, I'm going to train my mind. So yeah, training your mind, how you can train your mind. All of the things that we have talked about in the past slides, they can help you train your mind as well. Having that self-awareness, that can help you in terms of training your mind. Having that patience, taking failure as something positive, changing your approach, changing your strategy. All of these are actually training your mind slowly and steadily. And all of these experiences are experiences that are helping you grow, regardless of whatever you get from those experiences. Even if you fail, even if you get fired, I mean, it is all part of your journey. And that journey is going to help you grow. So keep growing, keep training your mind. Moving on, I will never be that smart. I mean, seriously, I mean, this is really bad if you have that sort of a mindset. I will learn how to do this, right? Everybody is smart, everybody is talented, everybody can work and deliver, regardless of their backgrounds. There are opportunities and the time that we are alive in. I mean, if somebody is saying they don't have the opportunity, they have the opportunity, man. I mean, we live in the internet day and age. I mean, open up Coursera, open up Udemy, come on, Qureos for that matter, and learn from people that have made those mistakes and are sharing their experiences with you. So, I mean, you have a great mileage. This generation has a great mileage in terms of having all these resources out there. It's just having that focus, I mean, having that interest and having that grit to deliver on. So opportunities are endless. So moving on, plan A didn't work. So are you going to stop over there? No. There is always plan B. And if plan B is not going to work, there is always plan C. And moving on. Even today, I mean, I'm working on this project, and my line manager is like that. We have to deliver, we have to launch it as soon as possible. And it's Ramadan, and due to it, I mean, things are slowing down. So I can just say that it's Ramadan, and I'm going to again start working on it after Eid. I actually changed the strategy. I sat with my team. Okay, we have still 1 week. What we can do is change few things over here and there, change a bit of about the strategy and execute it, not entirely on that scale what my line manager wants, but we can launch it in a limited scale. Let's launch it on a limited scale and learn from it in terms of operations and numbers, and we will have certain data points. And once we come back after Eid, work on those data points and then go huge, right? So, I mean, having that approach of there's something out there that I'm not trying, and there's always something out there, by the way, that you can try. Having all of these statements, having this internal dialogue on your left and on your right, I mean, read it, and you see that you're not giving yourself much options when you say, I'm not good at this, I give up, it's good enough. And you are just locking yourself in that state where you will not be able to grow. Who wants that? I don't want that. So, I mean, in that sense, changing the approach, changing those sentences, changing those words, thinking about in a positive way about everything, all of this helps you in terms of moving forward, and you actually feel good about yourself as well. Even if you fail at something, if you think that failure is an opportunity, wow, I mean, there you go. I mean, I actually feel good about it. And then you can have that confidence to deliver actually well from that particular failure. So always have that internal dialogue. It's not easy, but if you are having that awareness, and if you have that consistency towards that awareness, and then you can actually, work towards in reaching to a point where you can have that growth mindset, where you can have that space where you can experiment, explore, and this actually, the growth mindset gives you a positive outlook towards other people as well. People want to be near you as well. People want to hear from you, get inspired from you. So yeah, I mean, it's great. Moving on, we talk about the actions. Like I said, once you have that awareness and then you have that self-reflection moment, having that internal dialogue, you need to have those action points in place, because theory is theory and practical action items are always entirely different. So continue learning, keep learning new things. Like I said, there are humongous, numerous platforms out there. You can learn. I'm actually a sales guy, but right now I work in our tech sector, and I feel like that I need to learn new languages, the computer languages, because these are the languages of the future. So I started learning Python. I don't need to learn Python, quite frankly, because where I am, I should focus more on business development and sales, but I need to diversify as well. A sales guy with the ability to code, wow, I mean, think about it, right? So I already given myself more chances to grow, more chances to have more opportunities, right? So always have that continual learning, learn something new, read books, sit with people that have experiences. All of that is going to help you in adopting a growth mindset. Perseverance, have that consistency. Fails, no worries. Step up, move on. Fail, step up, move on. Keep challenging yourself. I mean, you deliver on your 100%. Next month, deliver on those numbers in much better way. How you can deliver on them more quickly. How you can deliver on them if the numbers are increased. How you can, you can find so many things within your life that you can actually challenge yourself on. From the personal perspective, I mean, my father is from the military background, so he never taught me how to ride a motorcycle, right? So when I moved to Karachi, and my father is in Multan, so I asked one of my colleagues to teach me how to ride a motorbike. And the day he showed up at my place and I, started kicking the bike and it was not turning on, he said, this is going to take some time. But long story short, 3 months after that, I took a trip from Islamabad all the way to Hunza on a rented motorcycle, a Suzuki GS150, and came back as well. And even then, a lot of people told me that this is suicide. This is not something you should do because you just learn how to ride the bike. So, I mean, these people, I think they have a fixed mindset because they think they cannot achieve it regardless of whatever experiences or whatever past they carry on with. I cannot do the same as well. See, the thing is that everybody, even myself, whatever I'm sharing my own experiences. You can learn from them, but your journey is entirely different. So yeah, coming back to the point, I challenged myself. I learned how to ride a motorbike. I took that trip. I mean, that trip is one of my lifetime memories. And I loved it. And now I ride every day to office on my motorbike as well. Failures, I have talked about it a lot. It's an opportunity. I will not talk about it more. Open to feedback. Yes, always be open to feedback. Actually, go out there and ask people for the feedback. Ask your seniors for the feedback. Ask your line manager for the feedback. Even if they are not giving you the feedback, go out there and get that feedback from them. And celebrate others. When you celebrate others, you actually get inspiration from them and they feel good about it. You feel good about it as well. And it actually creates a very good culture, especially in workplaces. So don't be bogged down by someone's success. Learn from their success. Get inspired from their success. And your time will come. Some people become presidents at the age of 40, or some people become presidents at the age of 70, right? So in that sense, everybody is on a different journey. Now let's talk about the benefits. I think I have talked about them in the previous slides, but I mean, putting them in perspective. So when you adopt a growth mindset, you have a strong desire for learning, right? What I mean by strong desire for learning, I mean that you participate more. Like I said, go out there and get the feedback from everybody, right? You're participating, you're getting the feedback because it is going to help you. You ask for more clarifying questions because you want to understand and you want to achieve. Most of the time, what we are doing is we are not asking enough questions, or we are not asking questions at all. And especially in our corporate sector, it has become sort of a norm that if you ask questions, that means that you don't understand. That means you don't have grip on your work. So we need to change that. We need to ask questions, because I personally feel if you are asking questions, you are taking interest. And learning new things, like I talk about Python for myself. What is something that you want to learn, or what is something that you learn is going to help you professionally or personally? It can be anything. Then obviously having that mindset, it motivates you as well. And then you study more, you understand the value of extra effort as well, because that effort is actually translating into results. And when those results start happening, you feel good about yourself as well. Resilience. So growth mindset, resilience, they are just, they are actually the same thing for me. Because when I talk about resilience, I talk about failing and then moving on, stepping up, moving on, right? So you have to be resilient. Nothing can stop you. Everything is an opportunity to grow further. I can't stress this enough. So in terms of resilience, identifying a possible area for growth, there's always an area for growth. Nobody is perfect. Change your strategy, change your approach when things get difficult, and always have, that belief, or to seek help from colleagues and mentors. Like I talked about feedback, just having, just by the virtue of joining this session, you want to have the change, you want to learn, you want to grow, right? Coming on over here is also an example of terms of that you want to do something more. You feel like that there's still time and point where you want to learn more, and there is learning, there are gaps that you need to address. So kudos to all of you in terms of being here, and that definitely gives you the benefit in terms of being in a platform like Qureos, and like I said, there are numerous other platforms. Going there, whatever you can do, whatever opportunity you have, everything you do in terms of all these experiences, try to just be there, is also going to help you. Even if you don't question, just being there. Like I said earlier, you don't always have to be 100% present. Just be present for 10% of the time. Even if you learn just one statement from the whole deck, kudos to you. That is definitely going to help you one way or the other. So I made, I actually searched these visuals to close my deck on. That actually visuals relate more with the audience rather than these written words. So like I said, journey, everybody has their own journey. I actually posted this on LinkedIn as well. So rather than competing with others, you learn from others. You get inspirations from others, because these others are born with different background, demographics, having their own baggage, having their own successes to deal with. You and them have no comparison in that sense. You can learn, you can get inspired, but you are not, both of you are not racing towards the same destination in that sense. So seeing yourself, what you were last year, what you are right now, or what you were 10 years ago and where you are right now. So compare yourself with yourself. And be your own competition. That is growth mindset. That helps you in terms of evaluating your growth, and actually you feel better about yourself as well. Moving on, like I said, it doesn't have to be 100% all the time. Just be there, just show up. And humanly, it's not possible to be at 100% all the time as well. I'm fasting today, so I may not be at my 100%. I'm not. Right? But I have to be here, right? I committed to present this to you. I committed to share these learnings with you. So I'm here. Similarly, if you go towards your work and you feel like that I'm not being productive enough, it's fine. Don't have to be, just be there, right? So momentum matters more than the perfection. Slowly and steadily, like I said, making your bed. Every day start making your bed. You will feel good about it, that you did something good, you did something productive, you achieved something. These little small steps actually help a lot. Uh, and then in terms of our daily work or daily assignments, and sometimes these yearly, quarterly projects, we do these monthly plannings, we do these quarterly plannings in Kareem as well. And I have to make these huge slide deck with regards to what we are going to do next, or how we are going to better perform on our numbers. And when I think about it, it seems like, okay, I have to make 20 slides and I don't even have one. So it's a big, big task. But you have to start somewhere, or otherwise you are going to keep thinking about it, that this is something you will not deliver on, right? So start, take the first step. You fail, no worries. Take the second step, you will do better. And on step 3 and step 4, you will actually start enjoying it. And eventually you do deliver on them. So enjoy your work. And failure and success. So, I mean, this one I really love, that we think that failure is something separate and success is something separate. But actually, what is there is that these failures actually help in building your successful career, in building your successful life. Without failure, there is no success, right? Again, taking failure as something positive is super important to have that growth mindset. We all want some sort of a different life for us. I mean, we have that in our mind. Getting retired for me at the age of 45 would be really great, and sipping some drinks on some beach somewhere with my family. But yeah, I mean, how I am going to reach there, how I'm going to have that life, if I'm going to continue doing what I am, will that particular steps that I take on daily basis, weekly, monthly basis, are going to deliver on that particular life that I want? If you think the answer is no, then congratulations, you have taken the first step. The second would be finding out how you can, take those steps, how you can re-strategize your approach towards your life, that you actually reach towards that milestone. So one thing that I do, that I always have my next step plan, like where I am right now professionally, what I need to do, whether I need to continue to stay with Kareem, what in Kareem I need to do, which role I am getting inspired from, and I need to lock that particular role. If there is a company out there, what company, what role, what I'm supposed to do to, get hired for that particular role. If there is something in terms of investments, what startups are out there that I can invest in that can give me a good ROI, right? So in that sense, always have that next step plan for you that can actually help you build up slowly your roadmap towards achieving what you want to achieve later on. So, I mean, we have two choices: pain of discipline or pain of regret. And you don't want to have that pain of regret. And when we talk about pain of discipline, all of the things that we talked about, making your bed, starting playing that guitar, I mean, reaching out, holding the guitar and trying out your fingers on the first chord, it's going to be very hard, but don't give up, right? I mean, have that discipline to keep trying. 30 minutes every day, and eventually you're going to start playing like Joe Satriani, a good guitarist, by the way. Similarly, I mean, let's talk about workout. You're not going to have that lean body or those six packs or whatever you are planning for on the first day of your gym. You have to have that discipline of going there every day or every other day, and having that pain to deliver on those sets, those push-ups, and eventually you will see, the improvement starting happening. But on the other hand, if you're not going to do it, there's always regret. I mean, if you want, I mean, we are not going to have another life. So, I mean, let's make maximum out of it. So don't have that regret. Always keep trying. And lastly, self-doubt. I mean, if you have self-doubt is fine. I mean, I'm not good at this. It is fine. But what I need to do to become good at this, that should be your approach. When you say I'm not good at this, again, like I said, that's a fixed mindset. So I doubt my abilities to do X. Then you learn about X, right? So I doubt my abilities to code in Python, right? I don't have a clue about Python as such. I do have a basic clue now, but then I start learning about Python. Then I start practicing and doing more about Python. Then I go on Fiverr and I start taking these projects for free, because at this point in time, my focus is not to earn, not to make money, rather to learn. So if I get these projects from different platforms and start making them freely, I'm actually learning, I'm actually developing, I'm actually refining my skill set. And then finally, once I have delivered on them as well, free of charge, by the way, I'm now confident enough that I can actually code in Python. And then I start charging for it because I have went through all of it. But I mean, it sounds really easy when I talk about it, but it's not that easy. It is hard, right? But then what's not hard? I mean, everything that you need to deliver on in terms of your success, in terms of your growth, has to be hard. Otherwise, everybody could have done it and reached there as well. It takes time, it takes experience, it takes patience, it takes a lot of self-awareness, and obviously there are doubts. But amid all of this, I mean, on the horizon, if you have the vision that this is where you want to be, I'm not saying that have that final vision in terms of, okay, 10 years down the line or 20 years down the line, even have a short one. I mean, in terms of where you are a month from now or where you are a year from now, and start walking towards it, taking those steps, and slowly and steadily and gradually you are going to reach over there. So that's it. My time is up. For curious, you can find them on social media, on Insta, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. You can get in touch with me. I'm pretty much active on LinkedIn. So if you have anything, you can just direct message me. I try to respond to the maximum of requests, but most people reach out to me for jobs, and I don't have enough of them, but I do refer them whenever I can. And yeah, so we have, I think, 9 minutes. So any questions that you may have, I would be happy to answer them.
Yes, we have quite a few questions, Ghazanfar. Before we move on to the questions, I'd really like to thank you for such an enlightening session. I'm receiving DMs during the session that the session was very enlightening for a lot of people, and they said that it was very engaging and they had a lot to learn from it. So I think we're gonna start taking questions now. We have a question from Rama who's saying, "How do we balance between focus on continuous learning and just going out there and trying?"
Well, I mean, why you need to focus on continual learning and just going out there and trying? I mean, there isn't any balance that you need to do. Let's simplify that. There is something that you want to do, how you can do it. Whatever time you get for yourself, uh, have that personal development for yourself in that particular time. And a lot of people say, I don't have time. I don't agree with it. If you are really passionate about something, if you are really serious about something, you do get the time. Couple of years back, I used to work in Telenor as a area sales head, and I had these franchises in outskirts of Lahore that I used to go to, and I used to come back in the night because I mean, they were pretty far, and then the road and the traffic and whatnot. And at the night, at 12:01 in the night, I used to open up Coursera to learn about digital marketing, because that is something I wanted to do. There were few of my colleagues that used to sleep at that point in time. So, I mean, you have to make those sacrifices. So it's not about creating that balance. Don't talk about creating that balance. Talk about this is something you want, then start learning slowly and steadily. Even if you are, I started reading a lot of books as well. Previously, I couldn't read a few pages. Then I started targeting myself. Okay, I'm going to read 10 pages a day, you know, and then I increase the number to 20. And that's how you come up with that growth mindset. So always go with the try rather than creating that balance, because balance means you are putting yourself in a comfortable zone. From the comfortable zone, I don't see the growth really happening. You get me? So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, absolutely. The next question we have is that a lot of people, you were talking about how to take feedback and learn from it, right? So the question that we have is that sometimes people share their criticism disguised as feedback, and that can be demotivating. So how would you suggest that you deal with such a situation?
Uh, Quite easy, actually. I mean, don't take it up your brain in terms of that whatever criticism is there. If there is something good that you can learn from it, find it and learn from it. If there isn't something, you can actually ignore and move on, because there are 8 billion people. Everybody has their own way to think about things. And they will tell you that do this, this is the right way to do this is the wrong way to do this. So in that sense, if you are taking it up your brain or taking it to the heart, in that sense, it's not going to help you. That person has just said few words and has actually moved on with their life. So you need to move on with your life as well, right? So in that sense, if there is something that is not actually constructive, that is something entirely negative, or that is something more personal in a way that you didn't like, have patience, be the bigger person, move on.
Great, thank you, Ghazanfar. It's great to know that even at workplaces you need to be the bigger person just to prioritize your personal learning. The next question I'm going to take is from Asad. He's saying how to maintain a growth mindset during turbulent times.
So COVID was one of very, very hard phase for a lot of companies, and especially for the companies in the tech sector. And if I take further deep dive for ride hailing, for us, we were actually closed for 2 months across all our markets. So we were making zero. When I say zero, I actually mean zero, zero in terms of our revenue, right? So actually, turbulent times create hard men. Hard men create successful phases of life, and then the people that come in those successful phases of life become too comfortable, and then we are back to square one in that sense. So I think turbulent times is actually an opportunity, because what is the opportunity? The opportunity is, okay, now we need to do something entirely different. So what we did on our end, we started focusing on other verticals, fintech being one, food being another, deliveries being the third one. Okay, ride hailing is not there, but we can still utilize, optimize our technology and do something entirely different, which we did. And now we have become a super app in that sense, right? So again, turbulent times and not doing anything, it is hard, is a fixed mindset. Turbulent times, okay, we need to re-strategize, take this as an opportunity, maybe diversify, look for other things, even experiment and fail, is an opportunity, is a growth mindset.
Agreed with that. Another question that we have is that, when you talk about fixing on a growth mindset and learning and growing, so what if we become too challenging? Like, what if starts putting like a lot of challenging milestones for ourselves, and at the end of the day, it's not good for our mental health? How do you say tackle that situation?
Uh, so when we talk about hustle, I mean, it's a very glamorous word. Always hustling, always hustling. I shared this article with regards to China, that hustling is actually burning out people as well. So when you feel like that it is too much to take, disconnect. What I do is, every Sunday I go to a beach outside Karachi, and I stay there for a couple of hours and reset myself. I go into the sea. I think of water as a neutral body. So, I mean, whatever positive and negative energies I have, I go into the water and I neutralize myself. I mean, that is my thinking, right? And then on Monday, you see me. I mean, I was there yesterday as well. So I reset myself. So always have, I'm not saying that don't have a growth mindset, but if you feel like that it is too much, then it means that you're burning yourself out. And it also means that you feel like that you want to do more in less amount of time. Why is that? So I think you need to reevaluate your life a little. Always have time for your own personal self-reflection time where you can groom yourself spiritually in that sense. So I feel when I feel that I'm burning out, I disconnect from everything. I go into the mountains, I go near the ocean, I start spending more time with my family to re-energize, to reset myself. In that sense, your RAM is overloaded. You know when that happens. And when that happens, just whatever you love doing, it can be a hobby, it can be riding a motorbike as well, it can be meditation. Do that because you yourself, your health, your mental state, it is more important than anything else. So growth mindset can wait in that sense.
Yeah, and I also think just having boundaries and realizing where you need to draw that boundary and the work-life balance that can also work in your favor.
Absolutely, absolutely. And everybody has a different boundary to set, right? I mean, it will be different for you, Hadi. It will be different for me. It will be different for anybody else in that sense. But you know where you are burning out. If you are burning out, stop yourself because now you're not going to perform. You're not going to be productive. You're not going to grow. You're only going to hurt yourself.
Exactly. So since we're like right on time, I will be taking one last question. We have Adil who's saying ideally you would want your whole team to have a growth mindset where they would take initiative themselves, but they don't. How do you keep them kicking and going? How do you ensure that in your capacity?
Yeah, so team management, man, it's really something hard to do because if you have to deliver on KPIs in terms of numbers, and you have to do it in a solo mode, you know that you have to deliver, right? Everything is on your ownership. But if you have to get it done from a team, it's very hard. When I was pretty junior executive, I used to get really jealous from all these directors and VPs that I mean they are getting good amount of pay and they they aren't doing much, but actually they are doing a lot in terms of that people management because people management is hard. Why is it hard? Everybody has their own emotions, has their own agenda, has their own personal vendetta, their own way to think about life and career and whatnot, and you have to take everybody together. It's a hard thing to do. Coming to your question in terms of how to have that everybody moves forward with the growth mindset, it cannot actually happen, and that's the beauty of it. You need a diversified team. So you do hand holding where you feel like you require hand holding. What I do is that the people that I feel that are doing it automatically, you don't have to do anything for them. I let them be. For the other people, I just what I do is that I put them out there in the open as well to explore and experiment. And I know they are going to fail, but they need to fail to understand what they are doing wrong. Once they fail, they come back and then we talk about it. What is missing? Why is that missing? And then if it is required in terms of hand holding, I go out there myself in the field with them or to the client in that sense. And I find those gaps. I try focusing on those gaps. I sit with them and I tell them about all these platforms. Like I told you guys, go out there. You have these gaps. Start focusing on them. Start working towards them. And if they want to be successful, if they want to grow, they have to do these things. I can only tell them, I can only show them the path. They have to walk on it by themselves. And if they do, they deliver on it. If they don't, the system is as such, especially the startup system, that they are going to be left behind. And that's on them. That's totally on them.
Absolutely agreed. We're right on time. So I think at this point, I'd like to thank you, Ghazanfar. I understand that it can be very hard to speak at such a length during Ramadan. But so I thank you for that. Thank you for being a part of Curious. I like that you keep coming back and we keep bringing you back because your sessions are truly energizing and amazing. And we have a lot of participants sharing that in the chat section as well. Zainab is saying, love the session. I feel so positive and motivated after the session. Adil is saying, thank you. Asad is saying, happy to see you here, Ghazanfar. So that's all the feedback that we've received. Ghazanfar, thank you so much for being a part of this workshop.
Amazing, amazing. I mean, guys, go out there, do amazing things, disrupt the world. I mean, if one of you is going to do anything, I mean, I did my part in that sense. And like I said earlier, that even if you learn just one line from the deck, I mean, again, I think this session is worth doing, and I would love to be back again whenever you guys want. And yeah, I mean, I'm fasting, so probably a little de-energized, but I think in a couple of hours I will do the iftari. But thank you for having me. Had a blast. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ghazanfar. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in, for asking questions, for sharing your comments and suggestions. We do have a lot of such workshops coming up. So just visit our social media pages and just start your learning journey. And we'd be happy to help you each step of the way. Thank you, guys. Bye.